rise it, I gotta dive in if I comply. These men hands to the sky, government stay telling lies. You really be starting these rides. I promise you, we getting tired. Promise you, these are the facts. Yeah, we know the facts. We about to start fighting back. It's your fault, this where we at. Or we wanna know what's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? What's up with that? Yeah. What's up? What's up? What's up? We back.
Yeah.
What's up with that live?
What's up?
The Maranatha Music Moment.
In the house.
It is an honor to have a legend, the one and only DJ Randy P with us tonight.
What's up? What's
Thank
up,
you, sir.
bro?
Thank you, sir.
What's up?
It is an honor to share this mic with you this evening, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Man, really listen, thank you for having me, man.
Without a doubt.
I'm really, really honored to be here.
Amen, amen. So before I even get into talking about you, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself, man? Why you here this evening?
I'm here because I love Team Maranatha. That's straight up. Man, you know, I'm just thanking God. I'm here today because I'm celebrating my 40th year of entertainment, 40th year, 4 decades of being a DJ and entertainer, and I'm just happy, man. To be honest, I'm just happy.
Amen, brother Will. We thank you for choosing this platform, man, to celebrate that, man. Thank you for choosing us to celebrate it, man. So
absolutely.
This brother and I have known each other for almost a decade now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We've just kept coming across each other's paths, doing different things. He graced us and allowed us a segment on his Takeover series. And again, we thank you for that. You know, this brother is family, and he's even more family than y'all would even know, because his family is literally a part of our ministry.
Right.
Which is how we met in the first place.
Right.
You know, so my man been locking down the Eastern Shore for years, but
I want to give a big shout out to my cousin Nikki and my man Mike and the whole Merrill family.
Shout out to Nikki and Mike Marrow and Miles. You ain't know, y'all gonna catch this when I see y'all.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations on 40 years, man.
Thank you, bro.
I know a lot of people that didn't even live to see 40 years.
Wow.
And you've been granted the gift of 40 years in the music industry, man.
Wow.
So congratulations is all I can say, bro.
Thank you so much, man.
So we're gonna get into some of the details, man. Okay, DJ Randy P. Oh, what's the P stand for?
The P stand for Potter, man. I'm from the old school. So, you know, back in the old school in the 80s, you know, you try to make your little name, you know what I mean? I used to like to rap on the mic, so I was like, I'm Randy P, and don't you know, I rap better than Curtis Blow. Old school, right?
Old school, my man.
Real basic and simple, you know what I mean?
Understood, brother. Understood. So you also have another moniker that you go by. I think it's called the Positive One.
The Positive One, yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, someone gave me that name, and when they gave it to me, I really wasn't feeling it, but it ended up being a great thing for me, you know. I'm gonna tell you the story about that, but the main thing I want to tell people is, you know, make sure you be careful what you call your kids and your niece and nephews. That nickname you put on them, they might grow up and try to be that. So I kind of grew up most of my life trying to be positive. But how I got that name was I started selling mixtapes in school in the 82. And I was doing pretty good in school. But around 85, I started to notice cats around on the corners. I'm like, why are they on the corners like that? And then somebody must have told me, you know, what they were doing, you know. Right. I was like, shoot. One day I was riding with my parents, and we were like a block from my house. I said, shoot, man, I wonder what would have happened if I tried to sell my tapes on the corner like that. So I used to go out there. I'm only 5'2", but at that point I was probably like in 10th grade, so you can imagine how short and small I was at that time. Right. And I just was like, yo, what's up? You want to buy a tape? Sometimes the people would buy a tape from me. Sometimes they wouldn't. But most of the time they'd be like, yo, get back, shorty. They'll see me. It was like one block in the area where I lived at. I lived a block away from a big project that was very popular in the town. So they used to be like, get back, shorty, get back. I'm like, yo, what's up? You want to buy a tape? So this one particular day, I was like, yo, you want to buy a tape? They was like, one dude was like, man, give me that tape. He's like, man, he reached in his pocket. He said, how much you sell your tape for? I said, well, I sell it for $5. He was like, well, if you take this nickel bag in this tape, you could make $10. I'm like, man, I don't think I want to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was like, what? He's like, man, he took my tape and threw it on the ground. Was like, yo, man, get out of here, man. You the positive one. You the only one around here trying to sell something positive. Yo, I was mad, yo, but I'm a shorty, so these are grown. Well, I felt like, you know, they were older than me.
Right.
And I was like, what can I do? I just humbled myself and just walked home in a sense, like almost defeated. But it bothered me so much, you know, like I'm really trying to do something with my life, you know. I'm really trying to sell something that ain't dope, you know, or that's not gonna hurt the community. I'm trying to help the community. That was my thought at the time.
Right.
So the very next tape I made, I used to make my own introductions, y'all. So this is way back in the 80s, you know, before all, you know, what's going on now with mixtapes. And I was like, well, I said, oh, no drugs being sold because I ain't dirty. It's DJ Randy P, the positive one, kicking it live for the 1980s, y'all. And that's how I started my tape off, and whatever beat I put on. And I put the tape out and it just blew up. But I'm a shorty, so I don't know. I always tell this story. I was so naive about this whole thing that I was doing that I didn't realize that when you got a tape from me in school, you got brothers and sisters at home, cousins. They gonna want the tape. They listen to tape. They dub it. That's, you know, amongst the family. I don't realize that. I'm just thinking I'm selling the tape to John. You know, so what ended up happening was the tape just blew up and spread all around. And they were like, "Who's this kid talking about? He the positive one." Right. They knew who I was, but no one knew me as Randy P, the positive one. So it's kind of like it was like a shift in my whole market changed. It just was a major shift. So that's how I got nicknamed the positive one. Really, someone trying to say, I took it as negative, but it ended up being a great thing for me throughout the years.
My man, that's real, bro.
Yeah,
that's real life, man. And I'm glad that even though the person that may have given you that moniker wasn't, you know, up to standards that the moniker was.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it, from what I know about you, from our conversations and stuff like that, it fits you perfectly.
Yeah, because I think I lived a lot of my life trying to live up to that.
Perfect.
And that's actually kind of the way we're gonna talk about this later, but that's kind of the way how I got saved. Because in my heart, I was like, I ain't being positive right now. Right. It was a period of time when I wasn't really being positive, at least wasn't thinking positive. I didn't really act in a negative way all the time, but my thinking wasn't positive. It was a point of time where I wasn't right, you know what I mean? So that kind of convicted me, you know, like, yo, I'm supposed to be the positive one. How in the world, you know? Yeah. So that kind of like led me right on to the path to God, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, so 2 quick questions for you. One, where did all this occur? The origin of Randy P. When you say you live near the projects, where did this occur? And two, you said that you were selling your mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
What got you started making the mixtapes?
All right, so I grew up in 2 cities on the eastern shore of Maryland. One was called Eastern Maryland. One was called Cambridge, Maryland. I moved to Cambridge, Maryland in 1981. When I moved there, I didn't really know nobody. So I used to just like I got turntables in 1980. My parents bought me turntables. I didn't really see a lot of DJs, so I just was mixing at home. But I always made myself a tape because that's when Walkmans came out. Right, so, you know, I made me a little tape. I didn't really know nobody in Cambridge, so I kind of stood to myself a little bit at first. So I was making a little tape for myself at home and you know, just play it. So one day, one of my classmates was like, yo, what you listening to? I'm like, I'm got a tape. He said, who made it for you? I said, I made it myself. He was like, oh, yeah? See, he knew about DJing and, you know, he experienced it, but I haven't really experienced a lot of DJs and stuff. So he was like, yo, let me get one of those. And I was like, yeah, for $1. You know what I mean? So, like, I ain't going to just make you a tape. You're going to give me $1. So I used to take that $1, go to the 5 and dime store, go get 5 tapes, right? And so I take that $1, go get the 5 tapes, and then I'm gonna make $4, right? So that was I make $5, but my $4 is my profit. So that's kind of how like I got started. And then other kids in middle, I was in middle school at the time, in 1982. You know what I'm saying? When I started selling tapes, it was 82, and that's kind of how I got started. I never seen no one sell a tape. But I did big shout outs to Chapter One and Company. It's a DJ crew called Chapter One and Company. My mom used to come home with tapes for them, but it used to be live tapes, them DJing live. So I was at home, I was just a kid. So all my tapes was made at home, you know, now you see mixtapes, how they made now, but that's how I started. I was just at home making a tape for myself, but eventually I had to, start selling. So I mean, kind of got in demand, and I want to give a big shout out to my aunt Myra too, because she the one. It's a couple of things that happened when I was doing it at home, just selling at school. One time, my aunt, she went to Morgan State, and she came home and she was like, "Yo, that tape you gave me, yo, can you give me another copy of that tape?" I was like, "Well, what's on it?" She's like, "What's on it? You ain't got the master?" I'm like, "The master? Nah, no. What's that?" I didn't know what a master was. She was like, "No, you only." She said, "No. Every time I make a tape, I make a special tape." She's like, "Every time you make a tape, you do it again?" I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, I would think that was a good thing, right? She was like, "No, you supposed to make one tape and dub the rest of them." I was so young, I didn't know nothing about no duplication and all that stuff. Right. And I don't know how I was out, for us consumers, and for us consumers having a double cassette. But I did eventually get one. I don't even think I had a double cassette first, y'all. I think I just got another tape deck and then played it to the other, which is in real time. So if it's a 60-minute tape, it takes me 60 minutes just to make another tape. Right. And then eventually, I did have a reel-to-reel. I'm sorry, I had a reel-to-reel. So I used to mix all my stuff on the reel-to-reel and then play it back on the tape. So the reel-to-reel was my master. So this was like 82. The reel-to-reel tape was my master. I didn't really, and then evolved. But excuse me, what was the other question you asked me?
No, that was it. You answered both of them. One was where it all started.
Yeah, you said, Cambridge. Yeah,
Cambridge,
right.
And then the second one was about, how'd you get started making a mixtape? Yeah. So my question is, when did the DJing come about?
See, I was already DJing. What happened was, my parents got me turntables when I was past to the 6th grade, 1980. When I got the turntables, I didn't really see no other DJs. The only DJ I saw, and I just remember this the other day, it was a crew from Cambridge called Mike Braun. It was called NYCS. Mike Braun, it was the lead DJ, and they were so popular. But living in Easton, if you're a kid, you didn't always see Mike Braun because they DJ more for the grown-ups when they're out of town. But in Cambridge, they DJ for the kids and the grown-ups. So when I moved to Cambridge, I seen all these amazing DJs, but I started out by DJing. But once I moved to Cambridge, I actually was the only kid that had turntables. So I used to like to rap on the mic, break dance, and I thought I was, doing a little something, you know what I mean? Right. Man, listen, when I moved to Cambridge, they had about 100 rappers, not 100, but they had a lot of great rappers. And I used to be like, these guys are nice, man. Right. That might have been the word I used, but I was like, they're good, right? But we hip hop, early hip hop. So I actually was the one that had turntables. So everybody rallied around me every weekend. We'll put the speakers outside of the apartment complex with my homeboy Milton Walls. Big shout out to Milton Walls. We would I would go to his house, put the equipment outside, right, and and just mix all day long. I only had like a small supply of records, like maybe a crate of records. We keep mixing all night long the same songs. I didn't have a knowledge of break beats at that time, so we were just doing a lot of instrumentals of other people's stuff off of Sugar Hill, right, and stuff like that. But I would let the kids rap, give them a microphone to rap and break dance, and that's how I ended up being a DJ. But what happened was in '82, one of the guys that was rapping, his name is Johnny. Big shout out to Johnny Quest. He was like, "Yo, it's this girl. She wants you to DJ at her birthday party." Now these girls was older than me. I'm only in the 7th grade, and past the 7th grade. And I was like, okay, let me ask my mom. So my mom gave me approval I could DJ. I had to be home by 11 o'clock though. So after I got finished DJing a party, she came up to me and gave me $20. I was like, well, what'd you give me $20 for? She was like, you DJ at my party. I didn't know you get paid from it. You know what I'm saying? That started my business career at being a DJ. But actually, I had turntable 2 years before that. I just wasn't an active DJ as far as a professional. Understood. I did it in the park for free, but then, I was professional then.
Understood. So, brother, you just gave me a lot of different memories that you had, man.
Yeah.
As far as doing this from early on, to like the stages where people started recognizing you and you started going to, actually DJing for a living at parties and stuff like that. Yeah. What's one of your best memories, man? What's one memory that always makes you smile when you think about it from that era, man? From the early era.
Okay, give me a decade and I'll give you a story. Give me a decade.
Let's talk about the 80s, man.
All right, so the 80s. So let me go to like 83. Well, it's a couple ones in the 80s, but my main two, I have two main ones in the 80s. In 82, and about 83, the guy I was telling you about, his name was Mike Braun. He was the hottest DJ on the shore. He played up here a lot too, in Morgan State, different places. He was hot, and this is early hip hop.
Right.
So he called me one day and was like, "Yo, you know, something happened to our speakers. Can we borrow your speakers? I'll let you DJ." What? I'm like, yo, first of all, it's Mike Braun calling me, y'all. So you had to understand, this guy is like he's the biggest DJ. So he's calling me. So I'm already flattered, because there used to be a club called the Clubhouse they had in Cambridge for the kids. And every weekend he was one of the DJs that played there, majority. And his whole crew, they were just good. So I was flattered that he called me. My father just passed away last year. Rest in peace. Yeah. And but he used to build my speakers. So he's a carpenter by trade. And so he see, my parents knew what I needed. I'm so young, I don't even know I need turntable speakers. I don't know that stuff. They just got it for me. And so he built me these real big speakers with 215s in it. And most, not even adults, didn't even have the speakers I had at that time, you know what I mean? So I let him use the speakers. So we took the speakers there. He was letting me, you can DJ. So when I went to the place, it was at a park called a nursery. And it was like 1,800 people out there. And I had never seen that many people before. I did a couple house parties, but I never been nowhere where there's that many people. So I was like, what in the world? So I kind of DJed like this, you know, the whole time. I would pretty much let the record almost run out and DJ, you know, and what makes it so memorable to me was, I guess Mike noticed that, you know, I wasn't myself. I mean, I don't know if he heard me play somewhere or something. He was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right, you know." But I'm a kid, so all these people. So I was like, okay, so he was like, you ready? I could DJ. He got right on there, was like, rip, just killing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to be like that. Right. And what happened was, after that, for 2 weeks straight, I had a DJ coffin my dad built me, and I used to tell my brother and sister, stand in front of me. Just stand, I'm a mix. After school, I'm just gonna mix. And then after about 2 weeks, man, I couldn't see him no more. It's like I couldn't, they didn't distract me. I wasn't distracted by them just standing in front of me. I could just keep on working. And see, that's why I thank God, because look at what I'm doing now, thousands of people. He was getting me started early, getting me comfortable DJing for, you know, a couple, you know, 1,000 people or whatever, you know. So that was, I just know God had it in his plan. So that's a story I want to tell for the 80s. The other one is, well, I forgot. Sorry. So we're gonna go to the 90s. Okay. 90s, okay, so I just told this story not too long ago. So it was a guy, he was trying to book me. His father was a promoter, and so his name is Wallace Good. Big shout out to Wallace. His father's a promoter, and he tried to book me. And no, his father used to book me, and then I guess he passed the torch to his son. So his son calls me up, and this is that, you know, the height of Randy P. Those that know me, I was, you know, it's probably like 93 or 92 or something like that, and he kept trying to book me, maybe since like 90, and every time he tried to book me, I was already booked, right. So he couldn't book me. So he finally got me. So he's like, yo, man, won't you play at this place? Come find out, the place he wanted me to play at was right at the town I was living at the time. But I at that time, I hadn't played there in a while, because I moved around a lot. So I was like, Dad, I ain't played here in a while. And it was a big place. And so I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah, right. You know what I mean, good. So he had about 4 or 5 DJs, but leading up to it, and me and my friend, we was talking about this the other day, leading up to that particular event, I was talking to you earlier, I used to have a whole, my studio room had a whole rack of records. And I had a roadie, his name was Dion, big shout outs to Dion Thompson. And I guess he was playing records or whatever when I went home. So when I came home that day, it was on Sunday, he was like, yo, man, don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. I'm like, what's wrong? What's going on? Took me upstairs. All my records was down on the ground. I'm like, what in the world happened? So he was like, yo, I just took one record out, and it came from it down. It was just weak. It was shelving, but it was weak. So it took us 2 days to get all the records back and put them in back. I used to have those particular records in alphabetical order. So we put them in alphabetical order. This is Sunday, Monday. So Thursday comes around. A cousin of mine, now I'm supposed to do the gig on Friday. A cousin of mine stopped by. He went to the military, and he came by to see me. He's like, man, yo, you got a lot of records up in here, man. He said, yo, but I bet you don't got sardines and pork and beans. I say, what? Sardines? And what makes this story the best is I'm a type of DJ, I play old school news. Even back then, I'm the type of DJ you gonna hear any old thing, you know, right. Spanish. I can do that because I'm an entertaining DJ. I'll kind of will people into what I'm ready to play. Right. I could talk it up. And I was like, man, yeah, I ain't heard that in a while neither, but I got it because we just organized the record. So I went right to the record, got it. We played it, you know, reminiscing off of it. Those that don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up on YouTube. Sardines from a Junkyard Band. It was on Def Jam at the time.
Yeah, shout out to Steve. Me and him went to school together.
Oh, that's what's up. Big shout out to Steve, man. Y'all made a classic, yo. Yeah. For real. So I played, you know. So the next day, I was practicing a little bit or doing something, and I said, oh, it's time to go to work, go to job. So my setup crew used to come and help me set up. So in the midst of us getting equipment ready to go, I still had that record on the turntable. And first thing came in my mind was like, yo, if I don't put that record back, I just fussed at my man about messing my records up. I got to put this record back in the right place. But I was ready to go out the door. So I'm like, man, I ain't got time for that. So I just put the record on the thing and put it in the first crate that I picked up to go do this gig. So fast forward, I'm new to the gig, set up and everything. It's like 4 DJs. And I'm just waiting for my time. A lot of times they used to want me to play last. So I think I maybe was last that time. If I wasn't, I was really last that time because by the time it got to me, well, let me say something. In the midst of me DJing, in the midst of me waiting to DJ, it was a couple guys walking around and they just came right up to me like out of nowhere. I was like, yo, Randy P, man, what you gonna do, man? What you gonna do? I was like, what? That spirit, I was like, oh, okay. Right. So I was like, yeah, what am I gonna do? So I went in my crate. I used to, those that know me, I DJ, even back in those days, I used to play a lot of TV theme songs, even way back in those days on records. So I was like, yo, if I get this Fred Sanford, I'm gonna know, because at that time I had a routine, I can't remember it now, but I'm an entertaining DJ. So when I DJ, I get everybody involved. I give shout outs and stuff. I go out in the crowd, dance with the girls. As I'm DJing, that's all I've done all my life. So I said, well, if I rock this Fred Sanford, I know this place is going crazy because they know that routine from me, you know what I mean? Right. So in the midst of me doing that, I put a little piece of paper over top of the records. And I was like, ain't nobody going to see, you know what I mean? Ain't nobody going to see what I'm going to play. So it got time for me to really play. And I said, oh, shoot, what am I going to play next? Oh, I better find another record. So I reached down. I was thinking kind of like this. If this don't work, what else can I play next? You know what I mean? Right. So when I went down to go get some more records, I saw the Sardines record. And I remember the emotion, how we felt the day before. Like, we was like vibing off of it. I like, yo, if I rock that, you know what I mean? So I switched the records up real quick. I said, if this Sardines don't work, I could play this record, you know what I mean? So, it came time for me to DJ. The other DJs passing over to Randy P. I'm getting the crowd hype. Just talking to them, y'all ready to party? It's like 1,500 people in this club, right? And it's a community center. And it's deep in there, like people everywhere. All I can see is people. Right. So I'm pumping them up. So I just, yo, when they heard the go-go, John, bro, they start jumping up and down. They knocked the ceiling down, but I didn't know it. I'm in the moment. Wow. So one of the DJs was like, Randy P on the mic. So I'm like, what in the world? So I'm thinking somebody fighting or something. So I jetted over. I just stopped the music, jetted over to the other DJ. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, man, look, all this tiles. It was like a lot of tiles down. You know what I mean? It was like a lower ceiling. I'm like, oh, snap. Right. So I already knew I got him now. You know what I mean? I got him. So I walked back, you know what I mean? Like, get on the mic. Yo, man, look what y'all doing, man. Y'all can't be doing that, And you have to understand the Eastern Shore is like, they have like different towns. But I was so hot in the streets at that time. If I'm playing in a town, every other town will come. Understood. So it's kind of like up here. If I'm playing in Baltimore, in the city, you got Rosedale, Randallstown, Righteoustown, Cherry Hill, right. Glen Burnie. Everybody's going to show up. And that's how it was on the Eastern Shore. Everybody showed up. And so I'm like, yo, y'all can't do that no more. They're going to shut it down because the guy told me they're going to shut it down. Right. So, put on the same record. Next time they start jumping up and down. This time they start like knocking the lights down. So now the lights get knocked down. Party over, right? So, you know, me and my boys is like, what just happened here? I ain't even played a record, not even a full 2 minutes probably, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what happened? So by the time I went back, and here's another thing. I always got paid when I got to an event. But this particular night, I didn't make the guy pay me at the, you know, I said, well, you know, I don't know. I was in the moment or whatever. I just forgot to do it or whatever. He didn't pay me or whatever. So I walked back here to get paid from the guy. The guy just stared at me. He was like, he put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, you the best DJ ever. And the rest was history. So, and it kind of changed my my market value as well. You know what I mean? I was already hot. People already, you know, I was already a lot of people's choice, you know, for us entertainment. But that really put me on another level because everybody was there. And so everybody went. And just the other day, a guy called me from North Carolina and said, yo, you ain't gonna believe this. I got this girl on the phone. She said she heard you DJ somewhere, and guess what? She said she was at this place called the Hog Neck. They knocked the ceiling down. I'm like, what? That's the same story. Amen. So that's a story I can say from the '90s. That, you know, that was really monumental for my career. You know what I mean?
Amen. So from listening to you talk, brother, you got a lot of good things that's happened to you. A lot of good things.
Absolutely.
A lot of good experiences that you went through early on.
Absolutely.
So question though, is it anything that you would have done different?
That's a good question. I asked myself that today. I really did. But looking back on it, I guess it's all playing out the way God wanted it to be. I really enjoyed myself when I was out there working. You know, you always can say you wish you did something else, but really it all worked out the way it should have. I can't speak for all DJs or all entertainers, but the people that was around me, as far as the fans and even my team, they always treated me such a great way. You know, if I showed up in a town, I was always connected with I'm calling it thugs, but I was always connected with the enforcers in a town.
Gotcha.
Cause I sold mixtapes.
Right.
So all those guys had my tapes. So as soon as I go to a gig, they be like, yo, you good? You all right, ready, Pete? You good? Right. So everywhere I went, I felt kind of good, you know, not saying nothing that could never happen to me.
Right.
But, you know, I always felt good. So in that aspect, nah, man, you know, oh, you know what? I apologize. This is what I was thinking today. I did not document the things I was doing. Do you know, you can't imagine how many artists I've worked with closely worked with and did shows with. I'm like, it's a lot of people I work with, and they always made me feel like I was like them. So I never really, you know, I didn't feel like I should connect. I heard Fat Joe talking about that today. He said the same thing. That's what made me thought of it. Because Fat Joe was like he was on Hot 97. He was like, yo, he not Hot 97, some interview he was doing. I think it might have been Hot 97, but he was talking about how he didn't take pictures and stuff. You know, that wasn't the thing back then. I said, that's what happened with me, you know. And we didn't take a lot of pictures. That's the only thing I regret, y'all. I met a lot of people, and people that know me know that I rock with a lot of people.
Amen. You know? Amen. So now the big question. What led you to Christ, bro?
All right, so, you know, that's a good question. So I got saved the day after Christmas in '95. Okay. And it was 2 years before that God called me. I had walked into usually my schedule is from Friday to Sunday.
Okay.
I played every week. I played 2 or 4 times every weekend of the year. Like I would never have a year, no weekends off. Right. Every weekend I play, and at least 2 times, at least, but most of the time 3 or 4. And so I went to this. I said I'm gonna start going to the club. My sister used to say you should come to the club. I would be so busy working on the weekend I never could go to the club enough. Right, so I felt in this place I felt like I can go to on a Thursday. I walked in the building. It was about like 100 people in there. Man, I was just shook. I was like, oh, I don't feel good right now. Right. Now here's a person who plays for hundreds and thousands of people. Now all of a sudden I go into a club and there ain't up but 100 people in there, and I don't feel comfortable. So I like that ain't right. So I was producing this girl. She's from New York, and I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna stop DJing next year and just focus on production. And she was like, Nah, she what? She's like, no, you got to remember your plan. See, I'm a strategic planning coach now, but I didn't know that even as a kid, I always mapped out things. I didn't know what strategic planning was, but I always mapped out my little career. And I used to say, well, I'm starting to produce more. I'm gonna fall back from DJing and do this. But my thing was, I'm gonna keep DJing to keep my name out there until I get my big break. I just keep DJing. I'm making money, keep my name out there. You know what I mean? Keep selling the tapes and just keep until I get this big break as a producer. So that kind of squashed that conversation. But what happened was about 6 months before I got saved, man, just all of a sudden God just took my desire of music. Period. I was like, wow. I just felt bad one day, and I was making a beat, and I was like, I ain't even really feeling, I'm not feeling this. So imagine God taking what you love the most away from you, but you still have to do it. I'm already still booked. I'm booked. So every promote, I gotta go because I'm already booked. So I'm showing up to gigs. They want me to play last. I'm like, yo, can I play first? You can let the next man play last. You know what I mean? Sometimes I would leave to play Pastor John and wouldn't even now get paid. Because I left and didn't even tell them that, oh, don't worry about it. But then when I get home, I'll be like, dang, I should have got paid. What? Like, why come I didn't get paid? Why come I didn't advocate for myself like that? And I just wasn't into it. And one time I did a high school in September, and one of the guys who used to roll with me, I told another one of my DJs, go ahead and play. Big shout out to Ill Kid too. He rocked that night. We was at a high school. It was like maybe 1,800 people there, 1,800 people. Ill Kid took over and rocked it. So big shout out to Ill Kid. But I went out into the lobby and I just sat down against the wall. And my homeboy was like, yo, you all right, man? What's wrong with you? I said, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. He said, man, you stressed out. So I didn't even know nothing about. Listen, that's how good my career was been in my life. I never been stressed out about anything. I never been stressed out. Right. So now I'm feeling stressed out and not even knowing what I'm feeling. Somebody else had to tell me, this guy younger than me. So I said, okay. And for the next 4 months, man, I just was just like lost. What happened with me, y'all, is God was calling me, but I ignored him calling me and say, you know what, son? Okay, you don't want to come? I take what you love the most. I take it away from you. He took my music away from my desire to do music. I'm still making beats. I'm still selling tapes. I'm still mixing, but I wasn't feeling it. And so that's what kind of led me to Christ, man. My mom asked me to go to church. I was like, yeah, I go. And I messed around, got saved, man.
Amen, bro. Shout out to mom.
Big shout out to my mom. Peace. My mom, her name is Debbie Potter. Big shout out to Debbie.
Miss Debbie, thank you. Many blessings upon you, ma'am. So last question. I also want to say this, Randy. Thank you for this interview, but we didn't really have the time to get into everything that we had talked about that we wanted to get into.
We come back.
So that's just what I was going to say. So you got to come back, and we're going to do the extended interview.
There we go.
Where we really get to talk about some things and do some things.
Because I want to talk about the 90s and 2000s and 2010s.
I need to hear all
what
that.
I'm doing for Christ. You know what I mean?
So do you.
Absolutely.
But my last question is, has it been worth it doing it for Christ?
Man, listen, it's been very much worth. It's very rewarding what I do now. When I go to DJ, I don't even have pressure. I have some pressure, don't get me wrong, but I have the least pressure, because you know what I do when I feel pressure? I'll set the equipment up, I go in the bathroom or something and say, look, God, these your people. I got all this music, these your people. You know what they want to hear. I don't know what they want to hear. You lead God, direct me to what they want to hear, and that always end up being a great performance. And sometimes when I start off slow, I'll be like, damn, I forgot to pray. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna give you an example real quick. This is a good example. One time I was booked to do it was up here too. What's the football team up here? The Ravens. I'm sorry. I apologize. I was booked to do a Raven Stadium, right? So I came set up and everything, DJ at the Raven Stadium. Came set up, and this is prophetic. About a month before that, I went to a preseason game, maybe a couple months before that, and I saw a DJ in there, and I said, man, I like to play here myself. Now I'm thinking to myself, I'm a Christian DJ. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be able to play at no stadium. They ain't not gonna want me. Right. Man, I got that call. They want me to come, but I'm gonna just say something to you. So as I finish the story, so I'm DJing, right? So I'm playing for like 45 minutes. And see, when you're a DJ, you look for nonverbal communication. Somebody bopping their head, tapping their feet, you know, sing. You see them moving the mouth like they singing a song. Man, I ain't getting none of that, bro.
Whoa.
I'm at the Raven Stadium, 71,000 people, and I ain't getting no verbal. I don't see no verbal communication. I was shook, man. I went to the side and I said, God, I took the wrong gig when I'm not supposed to be here. I took the wrong gig. You know what I mean? I was looking at the money. I was looking at the money, you know what I'm saying? And I had to pray about that thing, man. Like, God, I'm sorry, man. I took the wrong gig. Man, right after that, I got back on the turntables. And I'm playing like club music and stuff, you know, Christian music, you know, CCM is what I was playing. Cause CCM is kind of more universal. And it was, you know, it was a lot of, you know, so it was a lot of people. Right. So, and I know Baltimore, they like dance music, up tempo. So man, when I start playing again, right beside me was a VIP section where they had food. And I mean, as far as I could look, that's how much food they had. As far as I could look, it was probably about, I don't know, about 100 feet full of food, just all as far as I could look. So this woman came up to the thing and she was like, we really enjoy the music you playing. I like, you enjoy the music I'm playing? She was like, yeah. I said, you know the songs I'm playing? She said, yeah. She pointed at a table. She said, it's me. I'm with a group of people from a radio station, and it's a table beside us. It's another Christian radio station. We know every song you playing.
Wow.
When she told me, after I prayed, God sent that angel over to say, look, dude, you good. I got you. You supposed to be right here.
Amen.
Man, listen, when she told me that, she got her food, I was in the Randy P mode then, you know what I'm saying?
Amen.
But that's how the power, that's what I love about being a Christian DJ. I can go back to God when I'm uncertain. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like before, I was like the story I said earlier, I had the Saudi, I had the Fred Sanford, but I was like, I don't know if this gonna work. Right. You know what I mean? But I was going on my own, you know, but now I got God to go on and he helps me, you know what I mean?
My man,
so that's kind of I want to share that with y'all.
Appreciate that. So y'all remember, this is DJ Randy P, the positive one, who
positive
took the time to come out to What's Up With That Live, Truth Not Tradition, and celebrate his 40 years in the industry. This is just a preview of the long interview that we're going to have coming up shortly. We're going to keep y'all posted and let y'all know when our schedules meet, and we're going to do the whole version, not the short version. We're going to do the extended version. So, Randy, before you get out of here, give them that social media news so they know where to hit you up.
So listen, man, we got something really big. I'm about to do something real big. So my government name is Randolph Potter. So if you're on Facebook, look up Randolph Potter. And if you're on social media, Instagram, Twitter, it's DJ Randy P. DJ Randy P.
My man. So once again, thank y'all for sharing with us this evening. Thank y'all for taking your time. And my man, DJ Randy P., appreciate you, fam.
Yeah, man.
Always. See y'all next week. We getting tired. We know the facts. It's your focus where we at. We want to know what's up with that. Yeah. What's up with that? What's up with that? The takeover.
It's takeover, baby.
Yeah.